Good morning, everyone. It is Mo from Mo in the Deep End, and Fry is apparently exhausted from waking up at 3. And yes, that is 3 in the AM of the morning because he apparently decided that he needed to dig all of the fresh newsy news as it was going on, I guess, for reasons I can no longer understand. He and our furry cat overlords decided that first breakfast was to be served at 3 a.m. I do not know. Yeah, Fry has learned from the cat overlords that napping is in fact what you should do 90% of the day and what I would love to do right now. But I have a day chocked full of peopling adventure. Now, we come to an alleged Food Network felon. Not convicted yet, so he is assumed innocent. So I say alleged. Good morning, Jason J. Thank you, Eris, for doing all the modly mod things. Good morning, Kim. I hope you are all having a great morning, well rested. Thank you for cold caffeine because goodness knows I'm going to need it throughout the day. Food Network star Darnell Ferguson arrested on, well, strangulation or neck hugs, whatever you choose to call them, and burglary charges. I have not been watching the Food Network. Mr. Mo and I will watch. Yes, I did get them. I am looking at them, and as you know, the squirrels in my brain are going about 807,000 different directions. So I will be pulling together a What in the Walmart Cops Edition stream at some point, maybe not this weekend, but next weekend, depending on life stuff, and I will try to get some of those stories together. But yes, thank you for giving me those stories to look into. I do have them going. Good morning, JKD Buck and Jess and Eris. I always thank you for your mod stuff, but I don't always say good morning, so thank you and good morning. Mr. Mo and I love to watch like the Iron Chef stuff, but I have not kept up with the new if it's fairly new, I might not have kept up with it. There is either a cold front or lack of sleep. I don't know. My leg was not liking how I slept last night, so I will have to relook at everything. I am trying to pull together a not so great cop stream. So Cops of Shame stream is coming. Details on what led to Darnell Super Chef Ferguson's Tuesday arrest in St. Matthews, Kentucky are unclear. Food Network star Darnell Super Chef Ferguson was arrested on multiple charges, including strangulation, burglary, and terroristic threatening in Kentucky, according to multiple news networks, reports citing officials. On Tuesday, Ferguson, 36, was booked into Louisville Metropolitan Department of Corrections online booking records show. WHAS 11, WDRB, and Courier Journal report that in addition to the aforementioned charges, Ferguson also faces misdemeanor charges of assault, menacing, criminal mischief, theft, receipt of stolen credit or debit card. Oh, Lord. Oh, no, don't feel bad. We're expecting 7 to 11 inches of snow starting early morning tomorrow and winds up to 50. Well, I hope you stay warm and safe and everyone stays warm and safe. I know, we are getting chaotic weather and I want everyone and their fur babies to stay warm and safe. Good morning, Slinky. Stay safe on your morning commute, and good morning, Hey Joe. Details on what led to his arrest are unclear. People has reached out to the St. Matthews police for comment, but they did not immediately hear back on Wednesday. Court records cited by WHAS 11 and all of the other relevant citing media things state that Ferguson had a protection order filed against him on January 2nd. The identity of the person who filed the order is not public. Good morning, Erin Olivia. Ferguson is described on the Food Network website as a celebrity chef, restaurateur, and entrepreneur who currently hosts Super Chef Grudge Match. In early 2023, he co-hosted season 25 of Worst Cooks in America alongside Anne Burrell. He also is a frequent judge on Chopped and Guy's Grocery Games, competed on 3 seasons of Guy Fieri's Tournament of Champions, and recently appeared on OWN's The Big Holiday Food Fight and Food Fantasies. Good morning, Billy Marie and Wolfram. Yes, Wolfram, could you talk to your son? He was up at 3. He's following, look, I know you want to take him to the dark side, but he's following the dark side of the cats. And look, feline dark side means 3 a.m. wake-ups. Good morning, Sal. It is unclear if Ferguson has retained an attorney to speak on his behalf. God, I hope so. Because if not, he is boned, as we say in the lay legal terms. We may have some updates on the rabbinical students coming out of tunnels like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stories. Now, I don't know if we're ever going to get the full story, but this is more news, so let's see if we get any clearer answers. Rabbinical students found hiding, quote, inside a hole, refused to leave illegal synagogue tunnels despite NYPD orders, court documents state. So let's see if we get any more clarity as to why we were building tunnels. 4 rabbinical students busted in a tunnel under a historic Brooklyn synagogue were found inside a hole in a wall they damaged, then refused to get out despite cops' orders, according to court documents. Oh no, there are names. Dov Ber Shinav, 20, Shmuel McLav, 19, Blumfeld Yarmelko, 20, Hemlich Malekano, 19. Again, Duct Tape and Holy Water Productions takes all responsibility for the fact that I have no idea how to pronounce Hebrew names, but I tried my darndest, dang it. And I've had like 2 hours of sleep, so cut me some dang slack, internet. And if you have a problem, take it straight to management, which is God. Were each charged with obstruction after they were finally dragged out of their hidden home under the famed Shabbat Lubavitch headquarters at 770 Eastern Parkway in Crown Heights. Molicano and Yermakal are also charged with criminal mischief for allegedly destroying the synagogue wall right in front of the cops. Yeah, generally don't destroy things in front of police officers. They tend to get upset about that. Also, you're doing a crime right in front of that. I know. Sal, I need to get a jar while I'm out today in between my many forced peopling errands of crazy stories, because I realized that my gratitude jar should not be the same jar that I house my crazy stories, because at the end of the year, I will have a stream where I just pull out every day I just pull out the most crazy stories that were not on our bingo card for 2024. And at the end of 2024, I will, have a long stream, possibly with emotional support beverages and guests, where I just pull out all the stories and we go over them. And we giggle ourselves to death while crying because I don't know how much of a dumpster fire. No, I would bankrupt myself. I do not have a swear jar. Uh, I should probably get a swear jar. But look, I am already trying to be a nicer person, stay away from carbs, be kinder to people, not be disrespectful, learn how to say names, and stay hydrated. FFS. I look, I'm allowed to drop F bombs. That'll be next year's project. One of the men was using a crowbar to remove wooden panels, and another defendant, I'm not even saying last names anymore, was removing panels with his bare hands. Gentlemen, I have a lot of construction that needs done at my house. I'm just saying, if if you have a lot of energy, I mean, I'm pretty sure there were no rabbinical, you know, elders that lived here, but I do have a lot of paneling that needs to come down. So I can make some shit up. All right, you guys, there could have possibly been, you know, I can make things up. I can make things up. But if you would like to remove some of my vertical shiplap from the 70s, I am willing to allow you to come over. We have a lot of vertical shiplap paneling that needs to come down. I am willing to hire these gentlemen. Sources say the renegade students started a fly-by-night big dig because they wanted to expand the synagogue's sanctuary, but higher ups were dragging their feet. Okay, they did this for an entire year, and there were mounds of dirt like 3 feet big. You're telling me that none of the higher ups ever went into the basement? Y'all have got to be daggone kidding me. I mean, Sal does make a point. Good morning, Sarah Adams. Sorry. Like I said, about 2-3 hours of sleep. Sources, uh, you know, they seem a little confused as to why they're even in prison. The rebels first gained entry into an abandoned Jewish men's mikvah or ritual bath around the corner on Kingston Avenue. They then broke through a roughly 2 by 2 foot metal gate in the former bath's basement wall and tunneled their way under a sanctuary space reserved for women next door to the synagogue. They then breached the synagogue's massive main sanctuary. Good morning, Lexi. Yes, Fry has stolen our one of our old pillows. He will not give it back, so I have stopped fighting him. So he now has 3 beds. He puts the big pillow over the pineapple bed. Look, I have no energy to fight him anymore. A video revealed the bizarre tunnel and at least one beer can along with hanging electrical wire. Also shown was a dirt-filled room in the abandoned bath and clothes and other items scattered around it. A riot broke out Monday when the diggers tried to thwart cement truck workers called in to fill their underground hideaway at the request of Shabbat Lubavitch authorities. Rogues were filmed tearing down wood panels and wooden support beams as they desperately tried to get into their tunnel to protect it. Well, I mean, maybe they just thought they were in a dugout for a basketball or a baseball game. I mean, they thought they were playing sports ball. Look, I, I am not going full Dale Gribble. Congratulations on becoming a member, Wolfram. Let me get you set up. As I do. But this just seems all the weird, and it could possibly be that they are telling the truth, which, all things considered, they could be. But we have been lied to so many, 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 many times. that, it would not surprise me if if they were just doing something really, really crazy in there. And I am going to be sending you guys on to Baker once we're done. This will be a little bit of a shorter stream. I do have, unfortunately, all of the peopling meetings I have to go to today, which is like, ooh, I have to people? This is terrible. Don't give Mel Gibson any ideas. Let's see. Officers repeatedly ordered the defendants to leave and said uh, leave the wall, or leave said wall through both words and gestures, but the defendants refused to do so. So a criminal complaint stated about the four renegades. A fifth student, Levi Titz Lava, 20, was charged with obstruction for interfering with cops' efforts to arrest the others, according to the complaint. All five pleaded not guilty at their arraignment at Brooklyn Criminal Court Tuesday night and were released without bail. Four others were given desk appearance tickets on charges of attempted criminal mischief and reckless endangerment. I mean, I'm sorry, but if this is not the most memeable picture, I have said the same thing. But I will go out for kiddos IEP meetings. So I will go out for children. And, but if this is not the most memeable picture ever, I don't know. On Wednesday, a building inspector parsed through the shutdown complex as they looked for a violation. It's not immediately clear if they found any. Well, I mean, considering they built a tunnel like Dale Gribble when he built the Friendship Tunnel underneath Hank Hill's house and managed to, I don't know, put a hole right in his kitchen, I can only imagine that these students were not architects, unless they were. I mean, yes, most of my knowledge of all things comes from Futurama and King of the Hill. In interesting news, DNA links a fisherman to 3 killings, including a woman who was raped and strangled. A Virginia fisherman and hunter has been identified through DNA evidence as the killer of 3 people more than 35 years ago in Virginia, authorities said. Alan Wade Wilmer Sr. was named the killer of David Lee Nobling, 20, Robin Margaret Edwards, 14, and Teresa Lynn Spa Howell, 29. Wilmer died in 2017 at the age of 63 in his home in Lancaster County, Virginia, officials said. Prosecutors said had he been alive, they would have charged him in all 3 cases and say they will continue to seek out whether he's connected to other cold case killings despite his death. Yeah, I doubt that he would have stopped at 3. I mean, if he had 3, it would seem probable that he might have more. Officials outlined the case in a news conference. Noblings and Edwards were last seen alive on the evening of September 19, 1987. The next day, police found Nobling's Ford Ranger pickup in the Ragged Island Wildlife Management Area parking lot. Days later, the authorities found their bodies on the shoreline of Ragged Island near the south shore of the James River. Howell was last seen alive on July 1st, 1989 at 2:30 a.m. in the city of Hampton outside the defunct Zodiac Club. Who would go to a club named after a serial killer and/or people asking you what your birth sign is? Both are insufferable. Then a popular night spot, also full of people. Hampton Police Captain Rebecca Warren said her body was found near clothing by construction crews later that morning after daylight. She was identified later through a missing persons report and had been assaulted and strangled. In a statement, her family thanked investigators. Quote, "Oh, thank you, Jude, for stopping by. Have a wonderful day. Be safe and stay warm." Quote, "Their dedication, relentless efforts, and evolving technology have brought us closure that we have sought over the last 34 years," the statement said. "We are grateful for the closure that has been provided. Nothing will bring Terry back. The void left by her absence over the years has been inexpressible. We kindly request privacy as we navigate through a host of new emotions this brings." Yeah, I could imagine that this would be like losing her all over again, finding out who did it, knowing that you're never going to be able to get the earthly justice that you want, be able to take the person into trial, get the answers. I mean, rarely do these criminals give a truthful or a fully truthful reason as to why they do it. But, you might get bits and pieces of why they did it. So they're not even going to get that. And it brings up, I'm sure that day back and everything. So, and me being me, and I don't know how everyone else processes things, but if there is anyone around, and I do mean anyone, I will fake being fine. And I will not break down until everyone is gone. I don't know how many times or how many people, wait until they are in the shower to, break fully down, but I don't like people to see me fully break down. That's at least for me, and I can only speak for me, but it's a very vulnerable thing. So I can completely understand that while everyone around you wants to help, knows you're going through heartbreak, knows that you are dealing with the worst pain ever, but it's such a vulnerable and raw state that it's so hard to do in front of other people. We appreciate the support received from families and friends over this course of time and ask that you continue to keep our family in your thoughts and prayers. In a statement, the Nobling and Edwards family said that they have lived with the fear of worrying that the person capable of deliberately killing their loved ones would attack and claim a third victim. Quote, "We now have a sense of relief and justice knowing he can no longer victimize another," the statement said. Wilmer's death, they said, quote, "will not allow us to seek out the answers to countless questions that have haunted us for so long. We also recognize this is a difficult time for Wilmer's family and ask that the public extend the same grace to them as we do." That is wonderful. That is really the first time I've ever seen a victim's family extend that grace to the offender's family. Because I think a lot of people forget that in a vast majority of times, let's say 86% of times, these people come from fairly normal families that didn't know what the hell they were doing, tried to raise them fairly right. Maybe they just went off. So imagine finding out that your, loved one was doing this absolute heinous crap. So what a wonderful gift to extend to the Wilmer family, in their time of grief. That's really amazing. They extended prayers to Teresa's family. Quote, "We are now connected through this tragedy and will forever be linked. They are survivors like us. We will draw from one another's strength and perseverance. Police said investigators linked Wilmer to victims last June through Wilmer's genetic profile. He had no felonies on his criminal record, and his DNA had not been obtained until after he died. How was it obtained after he died? The Virginia Department of Forensic Science issued a certificate of analysis confirming a genetic match between him and the evidence collected from the victims, officials said. The killings of Knobling and Edwards were part of what was dubbed the Colonial Parkway murders. 9 people were killed in the area between 1986 and 1989. At the time, in addition to Knobling and Edwards' murders, Kathleen Marion Thomas, Rebecca Ann Dowski were found stabbed and strangled in a vehicle. On April 9th, 1988, Richard Keith Call and Cassandra Lee Haley were on a date when they were killed. Call's father found his son's vehicle abandoned near Yorktown, Virginia. Police found their clothes but not their body. According to an FBI news release, in another Colonial Parkway case, Daniel Lauer and Anne Marie Phelps were found dead near a rest stop on September 5th, 1989. The FBI has opened investigation to learn whether Wilmer is connected to the cases involving Thomas, Dowski, Call, and Haley. Brian Dugan, maybe? The special agent in charge of the FBI's Norfolk field office urged the public to come forward. Quote, if you had any encounters with him or his vehicle or watercraft, hunted with him, farmed oysters or clams, docked next to him in the marinas, spent time with him on a personal basis or at work, or even romantically to some point, we want to hear from you, he said. He said investigators want to know where Wilmer worked as a fisherman, tree cutter, where he hunted, which bars, clubs, or lounges he went to. He was a fisherman in the 1980s, mainly farming clams and oysters. He also ran a tree service called Better Tree Service. He was an avid hunter and belonged to at least one local hunting club. Police said he went by the nickname Pokey and was muscular, weighing about 165 pounds. He had sandy brown hair, blue eyes, and often a close-cropped beard. He drove a blue 1966 Dodge Fargo pickup truck with Virginia license plate EMRAW. He typically had clamming equipment and a large metal toolbox in the truck bed. Officials said the truck was one of several vehicles he drove in 1980s and the early 1990s. He also had a small 1976 custom commercial fishing boat named Denny Wade that he often lived on and docked at marinas in the area. A piece of information, no matter how small, could be useful to investigators, Dugan said. Even though Mr. Wilmer is deceased, we want you to know it's not too late to come forward. I really think that now that he is deceased, many more people will come forward. Unfortunately, time's passage and him being deceased will probably open more mouths because retaliation and things like that will no longer be fears that people have. Friberto, must you always move right out of frame? You just are a pain some days. There you are, sir. So I hope that they get more information. It does not seem to be a stretch of the imagination that he might be connected with this, considering he's connected to other things. It looks like we have more movement on the Savannah Soto case. The stepmother of the accused killer is also being arrested in the Savannah Soto case and the murder of the boyfriend as well. A third person was arrested in connection with the Savannah Soto murder case Wednesday when the stepmother of the accused killer was charged for allegedly helping dump the bodies of the pregnant teen and her boyfriend after they were fatally shot. Uh, Myrta Romanos, 47, was taken into custody just days after Christopher Picado, 19, and his father, Raymond Picado, 53, were arrested in connection to the murder of Soto and her boyfriend, Matthew Guerrera, according to San Antonio police. The Romanos were charged with felony counts of abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and concealing a human corpse. Christopher Picado allegedly shot and killed the couple using a force multiplier that belonged to Romanos, police said. Surveillance footage showed Romanos traveling with her stepson and Raymond, her live-in partner, when allegedly they left their home to dump the bodies before they returned. And she's wearing an Ozzy Osbourne shirt and Christmas pants. You know, you're never arrested in your best outfit. You're always in your Fiona Shrek outfit. It could never happen when you're in your best. You never look your best when you're arrested. When the police interviewed Romanos on January 4th following the arrest of Christopher and Raymond, she claimed she thought she was asleep at the time Soto and Guerrera were killed and their bodies were transported, according to an affidavit obtained by KSAT. Quote, there was a lot of information on social media that there was a third individual involved, San Antonio Police Lieutenant Michelle Ramos said during a press briefing streamed on the television station. Our homicide detectives were aware of that. However, we were looking for enough probable cause to make that arrest and present the best case forward to the DA's office. Romanos was wearing a black Ozzy Osbourne t-shirt as she trotted out of the police station. She was trotted out of the police station by investigators. She remained silent as she entered the back of a police cruiser. Christopher Picado was charged with capital murder after he allegedly blasted the young couple in a drug deal gone bad, police previously said. The accused killer claimed to the police he shot the pair in self-defense after Soto and Guerrera had driven to his home to sell him the devil's lettuce, according to an arrest affidavit obtained. So this was all over weed. Are you kidding me? Weed? Not even like Colombian nose powder or freaking fentanyl or I don't know, some weird designer drug that gives you both a boner and abs. What the actual schnell? This was over weed. I Snake Island to all three freaking of you. Ugh. Well, yeah, that's just dumb. Look, it's like those YouTubers, I think they were tourists to America and they were flashing big giant jewelry stacks and stuff, I think in LA, and then they obviously got robbed. Well, I mean, not obviously. You shouldn't get robbed even if you put, bags of diamonds on your Instagram. But you're gonna get robbed, all right? Florida snow, or what we call Charlie's Diet. Raymond Picado was charged with abuse of a corpse after he allegedly helped move the bodies. Soto, who was 9 months pregnant, and Guerrera were found in their car outside of an apartment complex on December 26. Their unborn baby was also declared not alive. Soto was reported missing days earlier because she was supposed to be induced into labor. At this time, we are confident there are no more suspects, Ramos said Wednesday. So, I mean, let's get this case wrapped up. Let's get this family some closure because losing a baby right near Christmas with your daughter too and your son and all of this over over freaking weed and money is so dumb. I cannot even stomach it right now for the life of me. I am so done. Back to cool news. A staggering new clue on the D.B. Cooper case may bring it to conclusion. D.B. Cooper might have left his tie on the airplane. You wouldn't jump out of an airplane wearing a tie, so naturally the most famous skyjacker to never be found, the dapper D.B. Cooper, took his tie off on Thanksgiving Eve 1971, just before dropping out of a Northwest Orient airplane somewhere over the south of Seattle. Now, 52 years later, Eric Ullis, an amateur sleuth who has made it his mission to solve the enduring D.B. Cooper mystery, thinks the infamous tie yields enough clues to finally reveal the skyjacker's true identity. I would not be surprised at all if 2024 is the year we figure out who this guy was. Ullis recently told Fox 13 Seattle. Ullis has been fighting to free D.B. Cooper's tie from the FBI hold, even suing the government for access, saying that there are 100,000 particles left behind on the clip-on fashion accessory. It was a clip-on. Sir, you are a genius. Oh no, I understand. I don't know why the girlfriend went. I understand being scared of your boyfriend. I understand all of that. And I also understand being in that situation, because I was there once, where you have a husband/boyfriend kind of not doing the right things, and you make dumb choices that put you in scary places that you shouldn't have made, and you get out of situations only by the grace of God. So I'm trying not to. I get where you're coming from, Sunny, so I understand. You are fine. Let's see. I do love that it was a clip-on. But he believes that there's DNA on the clip-on. While hampered by non-compliance of the FBI, Ullis says that the $1.49 tie purchased from the JCPenney around Christmas 1964, found on seat E, or 18E of the fateful airliner, contained a unique particle that was part stainless steel, part titanium. Oh, well, I guess he didn't look for DNA. Never mind. Ullis tracked that smidge of a detail from a decade-old scientific report on the Cooper case and used a U.S. patent information to trace various particle fragments from the tie to the crucible steel of Pennsylvania. Now, Ullis just needs access to the tie to bring modern technology into the fray. Quote, headquartered in the suburbs of Pittsburgh, a significant subcontractor all through the 1960s, it supplied the lion's share of titanium and stainless steel for Boeing's aircrafts, Ullis said of the metal fabric shop. Experts believe that anyone skyjacking a plane the way D.B. Cooper did must have possessed insider knowledge of the Boeing 727 and the Pacific Northwest. Crucible steel workers regularly made the trip from Pennsylvania to Boeing's headquarters in Seattle. Ullis tracked the now-defunct company's assets over the decades and picked through historical records to land on a specific person of interest, a man who worked at the company and was also in Seattle around the time of the skyjacking. This is also the time, 1971, when Boeing had the significant downtown. Ullis said, it's reasonable to deduce that D.B. Cooper may well have been part of the downtown. Or the downturn. So I think they mean downturn, not downtown. Downturn. It's called a copyright editor. It's called proofreading and a copy editor. Thank you. Look, who wants to learn how to tie things? They invented Velcro for a reason. But yeah, well, and probably easy to change your look. So, if it's a clip-on, you quickly take it off, unbutton some of your buttons, maybe take off your jacket. You don't look completely different, but I mean, I don't know. Also, I would never jump out of a perfectly good plane, but I would also never hijack it. So this is not, any part of my mental. Why wear a tie at all? That's a good question. When it comes to cold cases, few continue to simmer quite like the D.B. Cooper case, the only unsolved commercial airline hijacking in history. The unknown skyjacker called himself Dan Cooper, but the media misreported the name as D.B. Cooper, which stuck. Paid $18.52 cash for a one-way ticket to Portland that boarded Northwest Orient Flight 305 on November 24th, 1971. Good morning, greedy bloke. Fry is broken. Or he's Gumby. What the hell is Fry? What? Why? What? Why? Fry's like, I is okay. I is good. I is sleepy though. I woke up too early. I is tired now. I going back to bed. Wonderful. Now I have to people all day. Thank you so much. He's part Gumby. Look, we left him alone with the feral cats too long. Fry now thinks he's an indoor-outdoor cat. That's the only thing I can surmise. He doesn't think he's a dog. He is a cat. So he has developed somewhat cat-like abilities. Boarding the flight without offering up identification due to lack of regulations at the time. Oh my gosh, the days where you could just get on a plane and not show your stuff, not have to take off your shoes, not have to get patted down by, TSA and put your arms up and go into a machine and take your breath in, and then they still have to touch you, and then they have to go through your stuff and say, hey ma'am, this is more than 4 ounces of crap. Do you want me to throw away your Bath and Body Works stuff? No, I got that with a coupon. Can I just put it in my, bag? And they're like, no, we have to throw it away. I'm like, I got it with a coupon. Do you not understand coupons? With a strong knowledge of airplanes and parachute, law enforcement officials believe D.B. Cooper had a strong connection to the Pacific Northwest based on comments he made during the flight about the terrain below. Carrying with him a briefcase and a paper sack, Cooper passed a note to the flight attendant seated behind him halfway through the flight and whispered she better look at the note since he had a bomb. Cooper opened his briefcase to reveal what appeared to be a bomb, then relayed his demands of $200,000, multiple parachutes, and a refueling truck on the ready in Seattle so he could take off again bound for Mexico City. The demands were met, and the planned 30-minute flight turned into 2 hours of circling Puget Sound as crews readied on the ground. The airliner's 35 passengers were released along with some of the crew, and Cooper negotiated the specifics of the flight path and plane setup he required, a set speed, flap angle, and plenty more before he took off again with the crew of 4 on board. Somewhere still over Washington, Cooper then opened the rear staircase and parachuted from the plane, but the exact location and timing is unknown. Immediate searches yielded no evidence, and over the years, experts have been unable to determine the exact search area due to multiple valuables involved in the night jump. In 1978, a hunter found a placard with instructions for lowering the aft stairs of a Boeing 727. Then in 1980, an 8-year-old vacationing along the Columbia River near Vancouver, Washington, found 3 packets of the ransom money in the sand along the river's edge. The FBI still has the necktie, though, so the quest for D.B. Cooper's answers still continues to raise new questions. So did the boy get to keep the money? 'Cause seriously, finders keepers, losers weepers. I'm just saying, my kid needs to go to college. In an update to a story we did earlier, apparently, Mr. Viper or Chronic or whatever the hell his name is, had more bodies in his house because did no one possess a sense of smell? For the love of all that is holy. But this is an update, and I did want to, touch on this a little bit, and then this will be our last story because, like I said, this is a little bit of a shorter one, and then you guys will be redirected to Baker. I know he is doing a new case. I'm not sure what it's about, but I'm sure it will be awesome because it's Baker. A body was found in the same Houston home where a rapper allegedly held a woman captive for years. Less than 2 months after a pregnant woman was rescued from a Houston home where she had allegedly been held against her will for at least 4 years, another woman was found not alive in the same house, officials say Tuesday. The body of Catherine Roberts, 61, was recovered July 5th from Perry Street home where the suspect, Lee Arthur Carter, 52, allegedly imprisoned a woman. Houston police and Harris County medical examiner's representatives told NBC News. Jude Carrio, not kidding, my Yorkie and her carrier went through x-ray. They used a wand for the chair. Oh no, I'm sorry. It and they seem to never be able, you know what? Maybe, just maybe once, if the government could catch one of these jokers that they have on their radar before they do some of the stuff they do, because every single doggone time something pops off, these jokers are on their radar. Why do we pay these people? To be radarologists? Because, for Spaceballs, I feel like they're the Spaceball peoples. They're like, well, I watch the radar and I do the bloops, bloop, bloop, bloop. And then I've got the ba-da-doop, ba-da-doop, ba-da-doop. That's what I feel like they do. I'm like, so you, on your radar, you are as useful as tits on a bull. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Anyhoozle, let's get back to the story. Roberts had been living in a converted garage where authorities say the pregnant woman had been held, neighbor Jedediah Bites said. Roberts died from alcoholic liver disease, hepatitis C, complicated by internal bleeding, according to medical examiner's records. Bites, 44, had believed Roberts was the same person whom Carter, a rap artist, was alleged to have kidnapped before rescued by first responders on April 7th after the victim used Carter's computer to call 911. However, Houston police insist that the rescued woman is alive with sheriff's deputies, having last spoken to her on Wednesday. The victim in that case is alive and well, Houston police spokesperson Shay Ayawasan said. She was found to be in good health and did not appear to be in any danger. She is alive and well. As far as Houston police are concerned, Robert's death has nothing to do with the ongoing kidnapping probe, and Carter is not being investigated in the summertime death. I don't know. Internal bleeding seems to generally be caused by something, but she did have cirrhosis of the liver and hepatitis, which can both be very detrimental to internal organs. It wasn't ruled a homicide, it was natural cause, so there wouldn't be any police investigation, uh, the spokesperson said. It wasn't homicide, the alleged kidnapping is its own investigation. Yeah, but it does look a little fishy when you kidnapped a chick and then you have a dead body in your house. I mean, call me crazy, but things are not adding up here. Also, you generally take dead bodies out your house. Call me silly. Pressed about the alleged kidnapping and the death unfolding at the same address, she chalked it up to unrelated coincidence. I'll try to use that for my next crime spree. Houston police, two things can be true at the same time, but my suspension of disbelief. Look, this is like when you tell me that in Atomic Blonde, Charlize Theron can, basically unalive someone with a stiletto heel. Now, it worked once in, Single White Female because it was new and novel, but she's like 94 pounds. Against a Navy SEAL, it just doesn't work. But, okay. I can only tell you what we know for facts, and I'm saying these two incidents, he said. One was reported in April, the other incident happened in July. The DOA called to that residence, as of right now, is different incidents. A spokesperson for the Harris County District Attorney's Office declined to comment Tuesday on any connection between the kidnapping case and Robert's death. Carter's attorney could not immediately be contacted Tuesday. The defense lawyer said Monday that Carter did not kidnap the woman and that they are in a romantic relationship with a child together. Nothing says romance like locking someone in a garage with Twinkies and packets of, narcotics, non-legal street pharmaceuticals. I think Hallmark's making a movie about that someday. I think it's called Garage of My Dreams. Carport in My Heart. The actual hell are you trying to sell here, sir? The criminal complaint filed against Carter does not delve into the matter, and authorities have declined to offer other details beyond the document. Carter was arrested Thursday and charged with aggravated kidnapping. He was released on a $100,000 bond. Well, there you go. Apparently, they were in love, and she just didn't understand that Twinkies and welded into a garage are simply his love language. They didn't read that book, acts of service, words of affirmation, smexy time, welding into garage, Twinkies, and packets of street unlegal pharmaceuticals. I think that was an addendum to the book. It was like the Silmarillion, if you will, of the love languages. I'm sure it will be an addendum book. I will leave you there. I think you should be, if I pushed all the buttons right, moved over to Baker. Good morning, Ghostery. You have come in at the end of this. I hope you have a wonderful day. You all will be taken over to Baker. I think they are starting a new trial. Please like and subscribe, share with your friends. I have a couple videos that I will be working on today in between all of the peopling meetings, which I vehemently am against. I feel like everything should be allowed to be done through text. It really should be allowed to happen. But for children, I will go in for IEP meetings. So, have a wonderful day. I will see you all a little bit later. I am not sure about Newsy News tonight, you guys. I will try to keep you guys updated on lake situation. I will jump in on the Gypsy Rose trial stuff with EU and maybe try to jump in with Baker when I get back, but I am not sure about the rest of the day. So I will keep you updated with communities page and X. Have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.